Things we love about the Mini. It's fun, it's fast, it's cute. It was also the very first video we shot when we launched Electrifying.com, so we have a soft spot for it. Things we don't like, it's about as spacious as a kitchen cupboard. But look, problem solved. But before I tell you all about the Mini, for those of us who don't want things to be too mini, please do, of course, follow the channel if you aren't already and switch those notifications on, because if you are into electric cars of all shapes and sizes, this is the place for you. Thank you. So, the new MINI Countryman, all electric, family practicality, mini magic. I personally happen to really like the way it looks, although I suspect that might divide opinion. And if you are one of those people, then I think the trick is to stop seeing it as a car like this, a mini. You see, the new Countryman is actually longer than a Nissan Qashqai, it's larger than a Hyundai Kona. Once you get your head around that, I think you can see it in a new light. The new Countryman does come with old-fashioned engines, but for the first time it also comes in a fully electric version. And there are two models, the E and the SE ALL4. They cost £41,500 and £46,600 in the UK. And that sounds a lot for a Mini, doesn't it? But don't forget, this is an electric car from a premium brand, and it does compare in price to its electric competition. Now, as far as driving practicality goes, the range on the current hatch just wouldn't cut it in what is, after all, a family car. So both versions of the Countryman, anyway, both versions get a 66.5 kilowatt hour battery, more befitting for a bigger car like this, and it's actually almost twice the size of the battery in the current hatch. The basic E model is front-wheel drive only, has 204 brake horsepower and a rather usable 287 miles of range. While the ALL4, well, that's got two motors, it's all-wheel drive, has 313 brake horsepower, and officially it gets 18 miles less range. They're all 5-seaters with a decent-sized boot. You got that? Excellent. So, wheels. Well, if you want the most range, you will need the aerodynamic 17-inch wheel options, but you can have anything up to 20s. And then there's that very clean-cut rear end, all very handsome and athletic. But there are some very mini bits too. Those new head and tail lights can be personalised, and you can choose from 3 different looks. One inspired by the game Tetris. They do a little dance and say hello and goodbye. Cheesy or genius? I like it personally, but I will let you decide. Let us know in the comments below. So let's start with the most obvious place, the boot, and it is a much more usable space with a nice wide opening. There is a little lip here, but you know, we can live with that. If it means anything to you, it's 460 litres. Now that's about the same size as the boot space on offer with the Hyundai Kona or the Niro electric. It's actually not far off the boot space that you'll get in a car like the Audi Q4 e-tron. So much more usable. Underneath here is a handy little compartment for chucking your charging cables in. Far less mini, isn't it? So here in the back, well, the feeling of space does continue actually. It's pretty roomy in here. However, the doors don't open that wide, and I can potentially see that being an issue if you're trying to lift kids into car seats in the back. But once you're in here, headroom is pretty good, as is legroom actually. So if you watch my videos regularly, you will know that I'm only 5'4", so interiors generally seem big to me, but I've set the seat for a much taller driver, somebody closer to 6 foot, and I've still got a decent amount of knee room. There's also a good scoop under the back seats for you to slide your feet underneath. The middle seat though is where the compromises come, because this car, of course, hasn't been built on bespoke electric underpinnings, so you've still got this tunnel here in the centre, which really means that, you know, legroom for any kid in the centre is really compromised, and the console also protrudes quite a bit into the back. But I think other than that, it is again a really nice place to be in here, because it's a taller car than it used to be. The windows just seem a bit deeper, so it does feel nice and bright and light and airy in here. You're not too closed in. But it is here in the front that things get really interesting. And I mean just interesting in a really good way, a really sort of tactile, thought about way. I think Mini's always had great interiors since its reinvention, but I reckon this is the nicest one I've seen. It's such a lovely place to be. What I love is that, yes, it feels really nicely put together and solid, but there are some fabulous materials in here. I love this knitted fabric that's sort of dotted all over the place. Here across the dash, we've got a little panel there, cover here on a storage compartment under there. It just makes it feel really interesting and tactile. Oh, look. It's there on the steering wheel as well, a slightly different one, but just that little strap, it's a nice attention to detail. But of course the main event in here is this. It is a massive dinner plate sized OLED screen, a round screen. First time we've seen this in a car. It is a world first. And it's really, I mean, the colours are vibrant as you'd expect, but it's really intuitive and easy to use. I have just got into this car and it didn't take me long to be able to figure it all out. So up here at the top, you've got all the information about the car, range, all of that kind of stuff. Down at the bottom is all the climate control, infotainment system, media, navigation. So you've got icons that you can quickly press, or if you want to, you can also just swipe along. And as I said, oh look, that's Spike. Say hi to Spike, everyone. Spike is our voice activated control. I like that they've given him a personality and a name. Smart did it, of course, with the hashtag on it, and I think it's a bit cheesy in that car. It's got that fox that bounces a ball around. Spike's a bit lazy, if I'm honest. It takes a little while to answer. The whole infotainment system is a little bit laggy still, but you know, he usually comes up with the right answers in the end, and he's very cute, so I'll forgive him that. One thing that's really interesting about this, though, is that Mini's always been about personalisation, and you can really personalise this to your heart's content. So you've got a load of different experiences down here. That's the core colour scheme. You can opt for a green one, which is all about, you know, conserving range. Ooh, sounds are a big thing too, more of that in a minute. So you can flick through, choose the one you want. But this is nice, you can personalise it as well. So you could upload a favourite photograph, a family photograph, and it will choose a background that fits with it. And you know, it's just a nice little touch, which is what Mini is all about, that sense of fun, isn't it? You can also, if you want to, use it as a gaming screen. I'm personally not going to do that today, but I don't know. It's a big thing, isn't it? Every second car now seems to come with a gaming screen and a console. I'm not actually sure any owners would want to do it. The thing I always hear is, oh, it'll be great for the kids. For anything like mine, he'll be there on his phone in the back, not interested in the gaming screen. But, you know, might be wrong on that one. One thing that is slightly irritating, though, is the fact that, yes, in this model, I've got a head-up display there, right in the driver's eye line. Of course, this is the all singing or dancing model, and you will have to pay for, I think it's level 2 options in the UK to get that. So what that means is, on the base models, you haven't got any driver info right there in front of you. You are going to have to glance off to the screen. It's not too far away, but I do think that if you're going to do away with all that, the head-up display should come across all models. Apart from the screen, you've got decent storage around the place, good-sized cup holders, a couple of storage compartments there, modest storage in the door, and of course there is this one bank of switches here, the experience button, volume control where you need it, your gear selector, and this I really like. It's a little power switch that you turn, just like you would have once turned a key. Those are the good old days. Now a Mini wouldn't be a Mini unless it was fun to drive, would it? And even though this car is of course so much larger than the original, the existing hatch, I am here to tell you that the Countryman is fun behind the wheel. So we've got the SE ALL4, which comes with a punchy 313 brake horsepower. It is all-wheel drive, and it takes 5.6 seconds to get to 62. So Mini have made kind of little tweaks here that have had a really big impact. Things like making the tyres slightly wider, which means it rides really nicely, it grips the road well, and it's also comfortable. I think it has a kind of Goldilocks balance to this car. On the one hand, as I said, it's comfortable, it feels well planted and stable, but at the same time it does manage to make you feel quite connected to it. It's still fun to drive, even though it definitely is a bigger and a heavier car. You do feel a bit of the weight, but I think what they've done is managed to use the weight of the battery to actually make it feel more grounded, more centred to the road. You know, it's not as stiff as many electric cars are. It's got a nice flex, it moves nicely, particularly on a country road like this, where it feels quite peppy. And I actually think it really suits being electric. So you've got loads of grip, as I said, stable and smooth, as I've said, and it takes a corner nicely, even if you're pushing it quite hard, settles well afterwards. And one thing I do like is the steering, which is quite direct and precise. It's easy to place the Countryman where you want it to go on the road, and it goes, and you do get a good sense for what's going on with the front wheels. Now you've got those various modes to opt for, of course. Green is the mode you want if you want maximum range and efficiency and maximum regeneration. That's got a really nice balance as well. When you engage that, you can really feel the regenerative braking kick in, and if you want to, you can use the full one pedal driving, which I do like. But these roads, of course, what you want to go for is the one for maximum fun, not maximum range, and that is the wonderfully named go-kart mode. So let's give that a go. Hey Mini, engage go-kart mode. Go-kart. I love that. You get a little way when you engage it. How brilliant. That really made me laugh. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, go-kart mode is the one you want on roads like this. Yeah, it just sharpens up the throttle response. You've got a bit more weight to the steering, and generally just stiffens the whole ride up. Oh, it is really fun to drive. Look, I know this is a bigger car, it's a family car. It's more often going to be used with kids in the back and the boot full. But if you do want to have some fun in it, you really can do that. Go-kart mode lets you do that. And you know, that's exactly what you want from a Mini. The Countryman also has all the additional tech you might ever want, including loads of sounds. Yes, sound design is a big thing on this car. There are jingles to greet you and interior driving sounds. A lot of thought has been given to what the Mini design team call the earcons, which is the day-to-day sounds of the car, like indicators. It's all got the potential to sound a bit pretentious, that, hasn't it? But when it all comes together, it really does add to that sense of fun. But there is plenty of more serious tech on offer too. You can choose for the option of level 2 autonomous driving, so that at speeds of up to 37 miles per hour you can take your hands off the wheel, as long as you keep paying attention, obviously. And that will be licensed for use in the UK from launch. And you can also remote park into small spaces via a controller on your smartphone, a feature which is actually really useful. And it can parallel park itself with you in it. It can do all kinds of stuff like that. This really is next generation Mini. Now, as far as charging goes, there is, of course, 11 kilowatt AC charging as standard. There is a 22 kilowatt option. However, if you do want this, you're going to need to choose a level 3 options pack, which is, of course, the top spec car. And that starts at £4,700. Now, it also comes with other kit, including an interior camera, parking assist, loads of other bits and bobs. But you're really going to have to want that 22 kilowatt charging to shell out for that. What is standard though is 130 kilowatt DC charging, which apparently comes with a solid average of 100 kilowatts. We will of course check that out when we've got the car for longer in the UK. So that should mean 10 to 80% in around 29 minutes on a fast enough charger, which is all right, not super spectacular. And if you use the inbuilt sat-nav, and how many of us do, you can of course optimise for charging. And pretty much everything is controllable from the Mini app, which comes loaded on your phone, including opening the boot, setting the charging, operating the climate control on a cold day, and even locking and unlocking. Who needs a key anymore? But as far as the car itself, as ever with Mini, there are many, and I do mean many, ways of customising and optioning, so you will probably never see the same combination twice. And that's on top of the 3 basic trims: Classic, Exclusive and Sport. So that means you can upgrade the price along with the colour schemes. But on that point, I do think the Countryman E is probably all you need as far as speed goes. You get a little more range and over £5,000 worth of savings in your back pocket, and that's not to be sniffed at. And as always, do be really careful if you're adding those option packs on. It can really bump the price of your Mini up. So what do I think? Well, the Countryman is a useful family car, and now it's an electric one. But more than that, it's got that Mini sense of fun and style, and it's great to drive as well. I'm calling this one a winner. So what do you think of the electrified Countryman? Hot or not? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, if you aren't already, please do subscribe to the channel and switch your notifications on, because if you are into electric cars, then this is the place for you.